Hello, good people out there. My name is Benedict Owusu. Another Saturday morning is here on MX24 and it's Playmakers from now till the hour of 9. 1 hour solid, uninterrupted sports. And of course, everything that you need to know in the world of sports, we will give it to you here. It's just 1 hour, but we'll try and put everything together for you. And the show, as always, is interactive, so I'll show you how to do that. But of course, a lot, as I mentioned earlier, to talk about. And what to expect here. Sad news for Ghanaian as Ajax midfielder Mohammed Kudus is said to be on the sidelines for several months due to a meniscus injury he suffered whilst playing for his club side Ajax and in a game against Liverpool in the UEFA Champions League. We also will look at the English Premier League. It continues with no rest for those clubs involved in European competition in midweek as part of a congested fixture list. We'll look at the UEFA Champions League matches that were played in the weekend. Chelsea in the English Premier League, of course, the top liner will be at Old Trafford, where Chelsea come up against Manchester United following a dominant victory to their start in the European season in midweek. We'll look at that. The big one is the Clásico. Real Madrid up against Barcelona. What a game that will be. Well, forget about the form of Real Madrid. Just look at the magnitude of the game. Clásico, the name. It always will live up to the billing, and we'll talk about that here as well. There's also the River Derby in the Bundesliga as Borussia Dortmund, they come up against their rival Schalke. And it's the same story as that of Spain in Germany. Borussia Dortmund, yes, they've not been that consistent, but in terms of performance with Schalke, they are up there, Schalke down there. Because Schalke themselves this season have had their own worries, becoming the first team in the German Bundesliga to sack their manager, that's David Wagner. And then results have not gone quite well, but their last two results, a win and a draw, we'll see how that will translate going into that derby with Borussia Dortmund later today. So this and some betting tips coming here on the show is Playmakers with me, Benedict Owusu. This is MX24, and as I mentioned earlier, the show as always is interactive, so you can get through to us on our WhatsApp line, which is 0592 896001. 0592 896001. We'll be here after this short break. Don't go away. Well, thanks so much for staying in the studio on MX24. It's Playmakers with me, Benedict Owusu. And of course, we go into the show proper. And we have to start from the camp of Kudus Mohammed. It was just unfortunate that, after the build-up and all the wonderful things that were said about him prior to the UEFA Champions League game against Liverpool, he picked up an injury and couldn't continue. Well, the injury was 6th minute in that game, which was played at the Johan Cruyff Arena on Wednesday night. The club announced that he suffered a meniscus injury that will keep him on the sidelines for several months. And of course, it is expected that he will no longer be available to play before the winter break. Just unfortunate news. After everything that has gone on from his move from Nordirland to Ajax, then he made his first debut for the side in the Dutch Eredivisie, which Kudus Mohammed was adjudged as king of the match. He played another game, beautiful, wonderful performance. His third game was great. He picked up an injury and missed one other game. Came back last weekend and scored his first goal, provided 2 assists and won king of the match, only for him to go into the UEFA Champions League game against Liverpool with that early injury. We wish him speedy recovery, and we definitely know that he will come back stronger than he started at Ajax this season in the Dutch League as well as the UEFA Champions League. So away from Kudus, let's come back home to Kumasi Asante Kotoko. And yesterday, Kotoko were trending on Twitter, all because they announced the signing of a Brazilian player. And as you can see on your screen, Gama, Fabio dos Santos Gama, is the new acquisition of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. It becomes their 9th signing. A lot of players coming through. But we are privileged to have on the line Obi Thrice from Kumasi, works with Pure FM. Obi, thanks so much for joining me this morning here on the show.
Grateful, Benedict.
Obi, so what was the reaction in Kumasi yesterday when Kotoko announced that they've signed Dos Santos?
Well, to place your question in proper perspective, you need to appreciate the fact that virtually there's this whole issue about rebuilding the squad. The CEO of the club on his unveiling said, but during for the first day of for his unveiling, as the CEO said, the club was building a Chan-like squad. Therefore, we should expect a lot more, new arrivals who can compete on the continent. Yesterday, the FA issued a statement indicating that Kotoko and Ashgold had qualified and had cleared all of the procedure to compete on the continent. So, before Nana Ampunsa was appointed the chief of staff for Menchia, made it clear at the inauguration of the board that His Royal Highness Otumfuo Osei-Tutu wouldn't permit a total overhaul of the squad. So it was a bit surprising, that at this material moment, Kotoko is counting close to like 9 new players.
Yeah.
But for this Brazilian, it was never in the picture because there was Evans, Adomako signed, there were rumors about Emmanuel Frimpong, formerly of Arsenal, joining the club. There were rumors about Asamoah, but they've already signed Yusuf Mubarak. Emmanuel Sarkodie is available. There's Patrick Asman, Zaka Balora. So with this Brazilian's inclusion, and you check his background, and he's played for few premium clubs in Brazil, possibly Botafogo and some other clubs. He's been hanging around in Sweden, playing for third division and second division clubs. But again, he's a 28-year-old Brazilian, and it's a mixed bag. For Kotoko fans, there are some who still believe that, look, whether good or bad, we have to be there for the club. Whichever way, they are out there to support the club. But when it's been so consistent, Kotoko buys 13 or 10 new players the next season, they are shipped out. A new set of 5 or a new set of 10 is again introduced into the system. No proper team chemistry. Then they move into major tournaments and they fail, get back, and are unable to correct the wrongs. Then it's a big concern here in Kumasi. Now, in terms of the public relations and how they dealt with it, when Fabio Gama's announcement was made, quickly they introduced the corporate partnership between Kotoko and Hisense. A bit, cool the system because as at 5 p.m. getting into 6 p.m. it wasn't too good.
The reaction on social media wasn't too good because, of course, I mean, the background checks were done on the player, the class that he's played previously before this announcement, and it wasn't nothing, was nothing to write home about because he's played clubs that, if you put them on the level of Asante Kotoko, Kotoko is way ahead of those clubs.
Absolutely. But again, for every decision or for every action you take, there are the positives and there are the negatives.
Yeah.
And I guess at this material moment, all we can say is we'll just have to check what will come up at the end of the tunnel. Because, and again, this signing from Sweden or from Brazil indicates, or it gives you a clear picture that Maxwell Konadu possibly may not necessarily be in charge of some of these signings because no one is in the know when this Brazilian landed in this country and when Maxwell Konadu accessed him. Maxwell Konadu is on record. So I've said that for any foreign player to join Kumasi Asante Kotoko, he needs to monitor the player in training for at least a week. And it's clear that this Brazilian has never been in town. He's been brought on board. Evans Adomako, the coach, monitored him on YouTube. So what more can you say? But
Obi, is that not a worry? Is that not a major worry that some players are coming in without the knowledge of their manager?
Of course, I mean, as a professional coach, you need to have a say in some of these signings. But if you critically look at the squad, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. Maxwell has been given the opportunity of bringing on some of his own boys. You see Mubarak, Ibrahim Moro. He has his own favorite boys who are around.
Yeah.
He's been given the liberty to ship out some of the boys he felt, especially boys who had association with Yusuf Alasa, Chipset African Consults, his agency and all of that. So some of the boys, Martin Entry, Douglas, Owusu and Sons, Sam Adams, Calvin Andor, some of these boys gradually have been pushed out of the club. So if the CEO of the management have given you, the coach, the opportunity to play around the squad, and management finally is trying to get in some of their boys, it looks like you scratch my back, I scratch your back.
It's good you made mention of the players that are going out. And Martin Entry's own came to me as a huge surprise. This is a player who, before the league was truncated, played almost every game for the side. And he wasn't that bad. He played very well. So why would the club at this point, looking forward to participating in the Ghana Premier League as well as the CAF Champions League, do away with such a player?
He made 14 appearances.
Hello, Obi. Obi, are you there? Okay, it looks like we've lost Obi on the line. We'll try and re-establish contact with him. We're dealing with the issues of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Yesterday, they announced the new signing, a Brazilian, Fabio Dos Santos Gama, who became their 9th signing. And we're also looking at the players that have been asked to, move away from the club. And I was asking about Martin Entry, who for me came to me as a huge surprise. And Obi was making a point about how he played 14 out of the 15 games that were played before the league was truncated because of the coronavirus. And unfortunately, we lost him there. But on your screen, you can see the players that Kotoko have signed this season. Razak Abelora is a goalkeeper. And then Evans Adomako also coming in as one of the new recruits. Emmanuel Keyeke, he was the very first player Kotoko signed. Patrick Asma has also come through. Yusuf Mubarak of Ashanti Gold has also joined. And then Latif Anabila, also of Ashanti Gold. So Patrick Asma on your screen there. Latif Anabila has also joined from Ash Gold. So that's the issue of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. I'm not sure. Okay, so we don't have Obi on the line, so we have to move on and do some other stories.
Richard Ofori is someone who doesn't talk too much. I observe, and then I grew up from a town called Ebri in Eastern Region in Ghana. I grew up from there. Richard Ofori is a quiet guy, but very vocal when it comes to the job. And then I love to sing, even when I don't know how to sing. When I don't even know the meaning of the song, you will see me loud singing because I love music, and I love to be part of the teams that they sing a lot, or team that they enjoy when you are going to play. So I do that a lot, even when I don't understand the language. I do that a lot. So Richard Ofori is just a normal person, quiet person, and then very vocal when it comes to field of play. I feel so good because it's like one of the biggest teams in the world. So to sign with them, I feel very excited, and then it's like a dream come true because every player wants to play for one of the biggest clubs in the world. So I feel happy, and then feel good, and I feel home because I think I've been playing with them for a while. So to finally be here, I feel so good. I feel very, very, very good. 2017, we went to AFCON, and then we were talking about the team, and then he was saying the team is a very good team. They are a good family. To join is a good team to join. So then we were talking about it, and then I got excited because that time 2017.
So that was some transition there from Kumasi Asante Kotoko straight to Orlando Pirates. My producer, Gabi, be careful. You're asking me why am I mentioning your name. I have to let the world know that you are there messing up. So we were talking about Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and then Gabi decided to put Richard Ofori on. But I'm still here on MX24. My name is Benedict Owusu. You can get through to us. The number to do so is on your screen. on our WhatsApp line. Just let us know what you think going into this weekend's run of games in the English Premier League. The top line now, of course, is the Manchester United-Chelsea game at Old Trafford. And elsewhere, the Clasico is on. Barca up against Real Madrid. So you can talk about all the issues that we discussed so far. If you're an Asante Kotoko fan, I really would want to hear from you on what you think on what the club is doing, signing as many as 9 players. I don't know if there's going to be more players to come. The latest was a Brazilian who was announced yesterday, Fabio dos Santos Gama. Fabu. All right, so now let's move on. My guests are in the studio. Nanama, is a Chelsea fan. Today we have a lady. And then, as always, the big man who is also a Chelsea fan, Elom Fiaka. Guys, thanks so much for joining me on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Elom, do you know much about Richard Ofori?
Yeah, I do. I do. I mean, a fantastic goalkeeper. He's plied his trade in South Africa predominantly, and he's gone to a team where he probably would get a starting berth because the goalkeeper there now is 34, 35 years old.
He's going to be a starter actually. He wouldn't have moved from Marisbeck if he was going to go and sit on the bench.
No, definitely. And then for a team as big as Orlando Pirates, it's an absolutely huge step up in stature for him. Because I mean, Kaiser Chiefs, Orlando Pirates, 2 biggest teams in South Africa, arguably. Probably a lot more money for him in his pocket as well. And great news for Ghana as well, because we know our goalkeeping situation. We want goalkeepers playing at the top echelons of the game. And that's as high as it could get for a goalkeeper like Richard Ofori.
All right, so we're setting a tone right here on the show. Let's hear from you out there on our WhatsApp line, which is 05928960001. Later on, we'll try and see if we can open a phone line. So you get in touch with us here on the show and, air your views as well. But let's continue and we review the UEFA Champions League matches that were played this week. Nanama, Real Madrid losing to Shakhtar Donetsk by 3-2. It came to me as a surprise. I don't know about you.
Same. It wasn't expected that Real Madrid would be going into the UEFA Champions League starting with their opening game with a loss. And they had
played at home actually.
Yes, they've had a back-to-back home defeat, and it is disappointing and boosting the team's confidence going into the El Clasico. They were defensively poor, without Sergio Ramos, of course, helping them be solid. But they might be able to get it together because, hey, El Clasico is El Clasico.
All right, that's something we'll talk about later. But, Elom, I mean, your team Chelsea, you are at home to Sevilla and you drew that game goalless.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was a very dicey game. It was a game where a lot of points had to be proved, simply because it was coming off the back of that Southampton game where Chelsea threw that game away, arguably. Yeah. I mean, defensive lapses, a lack of a transition, etc. And against Sevilla, there were a few positives to take away from that game. 1, defensive solidity. 2, Edouard Mendy, who was voted man of the match. That has been Lampard's greatest headache going into the season, the individual defensive mistakes. Because bear in mind, the Chelsea defenders have made more unforced errors than any other defenders across the League 6, which I believe it's very atrocious for a team of Chelsea's stature. So against Sevilla, we saw a more composed defensive unit. For example, a lot of set pieces that Kepa would probably have struggled to deal with. Edouard Mendy was really comfortable with, because Jesus Navas kept whipping in the crosses, because they might have watched tapes of Chelsea.
And the manager after the game mentioned that he did very well.
Definitely. I mean, and most importantly, Thiago Silva looked solid. And a lot of us still don't understand why Mason Mount lasted as much as he did. As Chelsea fan was asking me if Lampard thought we were still playing in England. Because when you're playing in Europe, you have a chance to make 5 or 6 substitutions. And he kept a lot of the players on the bench. A lot of people were still wondering why Olivier Giroud can't get into this team to play as a foil for a certain Timo Werner. So a lot of questions in that game. It's a game that Chelsea should have gone out there and won. In the first half, they struggled for possession. They had, I think, average of 36% possession. In the second half, they got themselves a grip of that game. But most importantly, they didn't go out there and put the ball in the net, and which is the most telling statistic in any football game.
No, for you, what do you think, cost Chelsea in that game?
I think they were afraid that they might lose a clean sheet, or Lampard would have to give us so much explanation after another game about the defensive disaster. And following up from Southampton's game, they needed to prove something, to the fan base, to the team. They had to build that confidence defensively. The defensive partnership between Zuma and Thiago, it's building up gradually, and we like to see more of that. But Thiago's speed may be a problem, But going out with a clean sheet, I think, is a positive for Lampard. And hopefully they can build up from there.
So you shouldn't think too much about what happened in the game.
Because I think Chelsea has the ability to score when they need to score. You know, they've been able to come back from maybe 1-0 down to 0. But they need to strengthen their defensive force, and being able to work out with the clean sheet at a point, I think they tried.
Liverpool went away. Liverpool went away to the Johan Cruyff Arena and got all 3 points, beat Ajax by a goal to 0. Forget about how the goal went in, but it was a very good result for them, looking at everything that they've gone through last week.
Yeah, you fully expect that to start as favourites on paper. Ajax, bear in mind, have a few new players within their ranks. Sorry to Mohammed Kudus, who lasted 6 minutes.
Just unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely unfortunate. I mean, we've heard it's a menace-caused tear, so he'll be out for a few months. But then again, Liverpool were fully expected to go out there and win that game, albeit to the absence of a certain Virgil van Dijk. What Jurgen Klopp did was a masterstroke in putting a certain Fabinho in that in that defense, simply because we know Fabinho from Monaco. He's played a lot of times as a right back and as a centre back, and Jurgen Klopp wants a certain variety when it comes to his centre backs.
Now, even at Liverpool, this is not the first time
he's playing centre back.
And he wants there a couple of times.
Definitely, he wants one very physical, imposing centre back and one very quick centre back. That's why he probably would pair a certain Van Dijk with maybe Gomez. etc. So Fabinho did an absolutely amazing job against this Ajax attack. Liverpool were living on the edge in certain points of the game. But you fully expect them to go out there and start their campaign with a bang. And they did exactly that. It will be a very tough group. I still think Ajax will qualify out of the group. But then again, kudos to Liverpool. We expected them to win. Bookies would put them as favourites from the beginning. And they went out there and they didn't disappoint us.
But that group is very tight because Midtjylland at home lost to Atalanta by 4-0.
Yeah, you see, Atlanta is a very interesting proposition. We saw them come through the Europa League, we saw them come into the Champions League, and we saw their exploits. Very, very good team, if you ask me. But then again, you look at the pedigree of all the teams across the board. And you know, I tell people the UEFA Champions League goes beyond ability. Because we've seen some teams play scintillating football. But then when it came to character, when it came to when it mattered the most, they probably melted away like a pack of ice. Now, Atlanta are a very interesting proposition because we love the way they play. They play a 3-4-1-2 formation, which is quite interesting. But then again, for a team of their stature, a lot of times they believe when they punch up to a certain weight, they need to stop. And I believe it's a mental block for a team like that. Midtjylland are not going anywhere. I mean, you and I know. Atlanta will probably drop into the Europa League and go and do their stuff.
Liverpool and Ajax.
I mean, for me, I believe Liverpool and Ajax. I mean, watching that Liverpool and Ajax game, quality oozed through the game. And I mentioned earlier that Liverpool were living on the edge because Ajax played some very, very good football. We saw some coordination, etc. And I believe they look a lot stronger than Atlanta and Midtjylland. But then again, even if anybody will pull up any stamps out of the hat, it probably would be Atlanta. But then again, I'll still stand by my guns that Ajax and Liverpool would qualify out of that group.
All right, okay. But Nanama, briefly, before we go for our second break, I mean, Bayern Munich continue their fine form in Europe. Finished off Atletico Madrid by 4-0.
That was just Spanish brilliance over there. I was really impressed that Atletico couldn't stand up to them as well. And it must have been a nightmare for Suarez to have faced Bayern again. Nonetheless, the German side is really pulling off and showing that they really are champions. And they seem to be like the favorites for the UCL.
Absolutely.
I don't see any other teams standing up to them.
So Hansi Flick and the guys continuing where they left off from in the UEFA Champions League after winning last season's competition, starting off with a bang, beating Atletico Madrid by 4-0 at home. Well, in other matches that were played in the UEFA Champions League, we've already talked about the Ajax-Liverpool game. Olympiacos beat Marseille by 1-0 with Manchester City coming from a goal down to beat FC Porto by 3-1 at the Etihad Stadium. Inter Milan, their game against Borussia Mönchengladbach ended 2-2, and Salzburg drew 2-2 with Lokomotiv Moscow. You're still watching Playmakers here on MS24. My name is Benedict Owusu. I'm in the studio with Elon Fiaka and Nanama Ayeno. We are back after this break with more. Don't go away. All right, thanks so much for staying in your studio on Playmakers on MX24. Some of your messages in, and this one says, good morning, Benedict, I'm enjoying it from the Kwao Estate near Kade Eastern Region. Today, United will beat Chelsea. Bet fans should go for over 2.5. Kotoko 2. This is not the first time a Brazilian player is coming to the club. William David Luiz, the Arsenal. What are they doing for Arsenal? And Gamma for Kotoko 3. Okay, so you think that Kotoko rather should go for David Luiz and William at Arsenal? All right, okay, thank you very much for that message. This one also says, good morning. Chelsea can only beat Man United if only Lampard will play Kovacic alongside Kante and also bench his son-in-law, Mount. ZH needs to start. ZH needs to start. Chua shouldn't overlap too much in this game. Pulisic needs to play his natural position. With this, all the 3 points can be ours. This one is coming from Shy Guy Snow Nelson, Abo in the Volta region. Thanks so much for that message. This one says, my name is Bill. I'm a Chelsea fan. I'm expecting Chelsea to win. And add me to any Chelsea fan group on WhatsApp. Okay, we'll look for one for you. Okay, we'll look for one for you. I'll give your number to Elom. Elom will put you on one of their groups. Nana Bill from Karaga in the northern region. He says, I need more bet tips. Joseph will give you that. Hey, Charlie, boys make wild though. Need more bet tips. Don't worry, it will come. The octopus didn't come today, but we'll try and see what we can do. Maybe Elom can act instead and give you some bets. Yeah, we'll try and do that. Now, this one says, good morning. To you and your panelists here. You always give us the best when it comes to sport, and thanks for that. Today, Barca will annihilate Real Madrid by 5-1. Bash from Yendi. Okay, so you can also send in yours to our WhatsApp number, which is on your screen. Let's move on and focus on the English Premier League. But you all know the top line now is at Old Trafford, where Manchester United will take on Chelsea. What a game that will be. Manchester United are coming into this game having won their game in midweek, the UEFA Champions League, to PSG by 2-1. For Chelsea, as you heard us earlier discuss, they drew with Sevilla at home. Elom, how does this play in? Manchester United, of course, at the back of that wonderful win, go into this game as favourites?
When it comes to games between Chelsea and Manchester United, you need to take the form guide, rip it apart and throw it out the window. Simply because of the rivalry that exists between the two teams. Absolutely epic rivalry. Now, we know typical Manchester United. They surprise us a lot of times. We know Frank Lampard as well, very indecisive. It will be a very, very technically soaking game. Simply because both managers would not want to lose. Now, last season, they played 4 times. Manchester United won 3, and Frank Lampard stung Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the Cup semi-final when it mattered the most and won 1. So they go into this game with a lot to prove. Now, when there's a cloud hanging over a game like this, you expect a very feisty encounter. Now, look across both teams. Manchester United seem to have found a certain fluidity across the middle, and that fluidity is minus a certain Paul Pogba. They've got Scott McTominay in there who's doing an absolutely fantastic job. And at the back, Maguire, he's flattered to deceive. Today he plays like Maldini. And tomorrow he plays, I don't want to mention any names, he plays like another kind of defender. They brought in Tuanzebe into the cup game, and he was absolutely phenomenal. Alex Telles at left back looked decent. Wan-Bissaka was playing like 2 Bissakas against PSG. You know, and across that attack, they brought in Cavani. I don't think he's going to play any part in this game. Probably not from the start. But
Bissaka has been very good in their last 2 games.
Definitely.
Scored that wonderful goal in the last game, and then was awesome against PSG.
Definitely, that's what I say. He plays playing like 2 Bissakas. I mean, up on that right wing. And looking across the Chelsea team as well, it's about the fact that Frank Lampard probably has so much quality on his hands. He doesn't know what to do with the team. So you see a Chelsea team that starts off maybe playing a 4-2-3-1, and then you probably see Mason Mount playing as a left winger. We all know Mason Mount is not a left winger. Christian Pulisic can do nothing on the right side of attack. And up front, Timo Werner, as much as he's a fantastic goal scorer, when he was playing at RB Leipzig, he had a certain Yusuf Poulsen who was playing as a foil for him. But you're playing him as a sole number 9, making it very difficult for him. So he's always dropping deep, creating spaces up front. And you want to have a target man there. Across the back, Chelsea need to sort themselves out. Thiago Silva is fit for this game. He probably would partner in with Zuma, which seems the most solid defensive partnership this season. I do not know what Rudiger has done to Lampard. Probably need to go ask him. But most important thing for Chelsea now is we have a goalkeeper in Edouard Mendy. I mean, against Sevilla, we saw that reflex save. He was absolutely fantastic. And that's what Chelsea fans have been crying for. Because what Kepa offered Chelsea was a 46% save rate. So it means 54% of the shots that he faced went into the post, and which is the worst in Premier League history. It's ridiculous, but the likes of Massimo Taibi seem better than Kepa. So for this game, it would be won on the smallest margins. It would be lost on the smallest margins as well. Both coaches are going to go in with a certain tactical acumen and a certain tactical plan to neutralize each other. Expect a lot of goals because Chelsea will attack. Man U have a blistering attack as well. A very, very difficult game to call. Probably call it after we go around the table.
When is Lampard going to give Ziyech the chance to play? Because he's training.
In his press conference, Lampard said because of the coronavirus restrictions, he's not able to get him up to the fitness he wants. Because he said if he has to get up to fitness, he has to play in full 11-a-side games. And without coronavirus, normally they used to play a lot of those games with the under-23s. But because of the coronavirus restrictions, they are not able to mix with the under-23. So they are not able to play full 11-a-side games. So he's not up to that match fitness yet. But then he's going to keep introducing him and giving him vital minutes until he's up to scratch. I don't know what he's waiting for. Sometimes you throw the player in, sometimes you don't. And we saw him against Southampton. He actually lost a crucial ball that led to a goal. So it means he still has to get to grips with the league. Aside that, he made some very good contributions to the game. Nice cameo. But like I said, our coach said that he's not fit enough yet. He'll play a part, but probably not start.
So Lampard says he's not fit enough yet to start games for Chelsea. Let's take a listen to the Chelsea manager for more as we build up to the game this afternoon.
And you know, as it should do, and we played them a lot. We played them in 2 cup competitions as well as the league last year. They're a quality team, got quality individuals, quality organisation. You saw how they go to Paris in midweek and get a fantastic result. And as you sort of touched on, and as we all know at the minute, everything is very close in the league. Everybody is in and around themselves. You know, teams around us that would expect to be up there. We're in that level at the moment, so it's an opportunity to get some very hard-earned points, but it's going to be a really tough match.
All right, so that was Frank Lampard speaking there ahead of their game against Manchester United. Do you feel that Lampard is under pressure?
Yes, I think so.
He is.
He has not been able to face Solskjaer in the past 2 league games, and this is big for him considering that we have spent so much over the summer, and looking at how many goals they have conceded in the past 5 games, going into Old Trafford and possibly winning with, say, a 3-0, just very likely, because Chelsea has a very good attack, would be very good, considering that we have Mendy in the pole and the defensive partnership between Thiago and Zuma is building up. Chelsea might have a good chance.
But you don't think that having drawn that game against Southampton, they gave the game literally away? Because in the first half, Chelsea had a chance to kill it. 3-0, they could have scored more, came back in the second half, and then made individual errors, and Southampton took advantage of that, drew that game 3-3, also drew their last game against Sevilla. But you are playing against a Manchester United team that, finished off how they beat their opponent in the last 2 games. Something else.
Yeah. As Alan rightly said, when it comes to a game between rivals, it's not really about who is on form, and Chelsea is not really out of shape going into this game. They have been able to score, I think, 13 goals in the last 5 games. And goal scoring is really not a problem. It's just being able to defend well. Manchester United clearly has the same problem. And if they're going to start Martial, they're going to start Maguire. I think Chelsea probably is going to get an own goal in.
Maguire definitely will start.
Benedict, Lampard's record, he's been in charge for 475 days. And he's played 63 games. He's won 32. He's drawn 11. He's lost 20 games. He's scored 122 goals. And here's the interesting statistic. He's conceded 89 goals.
That's not good.
16 clean sheets, and he's used 35 players in total. That's a very wretched record for a Chelsea manager.
That's not good. That's not good enough for Lampard. So definitely Lampard is under pressure going into this game, looking at the last 2 results. But for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, 3 weeks ago, he was in a position of Frank Lampard because he was under pressure. After losing 6-1 to Tottenham Hotspur, he needed to get the boys back on their feet, went away. I think they played against Burnley or so. They drew that game and then finally started winning Newcastle United and in the UEFA Champions League. Well, he expects Edison, Cavani, Greenwood and Maguire to be fit against Chelsea.
I hope and expect all three of them to be available for selection. Of course, we got a training session this morning, but yeah, I think, or they've got a chance, all of them. There's the different reasons to. So Edinson, he wants to tick all the boxes that he's gone through in his program and feel ready to make an impact. So I think his last preparation was going to be today, and then I'll have a discussion with him. And it seemed positive yesterday with both Mason and Harry. So hopefully.
So a very confident manager speaking there. That's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And Elom, I mean, looking at the first head from your manager, that's Frank Lampard, and then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, his body language and everything tells you that, Charlie, I gave him.
Definitely, he's got a bit of a bounce because he's won 2 games on the trot. Any manager will be confident in this situation because he faced a mighty PSG, that UEFA Champions League finalist, and he beat them.
And Newcastle United has not been bad this
Definitely,
season.
They've been a hard nut to crack, and he beat them. So he's going into this game on a high. And you see a lot of these things, when confidence oozes through the team, it gives you that extra bounce. It gives you that extra impetus to go out there and give it all. And Manchester United is looking like a very, very confident team as we see it against PSG. We expected them to sit back and soak the pressure. But then you see, they had a psychological edge over PSG because they went to Paris last year and beat PSG. So they felt they could do it again. And they went out there and did it. So this game would be, like I said, won or lost on very small margins. The first 15 minutes of this game will be very essential.
I don't want us to talk about Harry Maguire because we all know, I mean, it's no secret to anybody who's been following Manchester United. But let's talk about Cavani. What do you think he brings to this team?
Cavani has scored 6 goals last season.
Yeah.
In I think 32 or 33 appearances. I'll get the statistics. But a lot of people are saying, well, he's 33 years old, he's aging, he's ripping them off £250,000 a week. He hasn't proven himself enough. He couldn't get into the PSG team. In fact, they went in and brought Mauro Icardi on loan as a replacement for him because his fitness levels were very questionable and his injury record as well was not the best. So Manchester United, with Igalo in their ranks, still went in and brought him, which is a bit puzzling. Have they lost faith in Igalo? Do they not trust him anymore? Or they just want extra firepower? Or they just want a certain marquee signing to prove that they've also dipped into the transfer market? It's very puzzling because looking across their strikers, they've played Marcus Rashford as a number 9. They've played Anthony Martial. They've played Mason Greenwood. That's 3 players that can play as strikers. So it puzzles me. We'll see. We yet to see the impacts. We hope he doesn't end up being another Falcao who came in as a cash cow to make the money and walk away. But then again, it's a very curious buy to me.
Okay, so Chelsea, Manchester United on the top lineup this weekend. The other games, last night, one game was played. Bamford again was the man as Leeds United finished off Aston Villa by 3-0. And Bamford has been he's been immense this season.
Definitely. I mean, he's been a journeyman. You know, he's been a Chelsea player before.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andre Villas-Boas bought him from Nottingham Forest for £1 million. Came in, couldn't make much of an impact. Went on a series of loans from Norwich City, etc. Played in the Championship, and now he's found a home with Marcelo Bielsa. And if you look at the kind of goals he scored yesterday, they were very, very classy goals.
Yeah.
The first one was a poacher's effort. Second one, high level of composure, and third one, fantastic placement. It shows you that he has a certain talent. He may be finding his feet. And you look across that Leeds United team, and they play as a team. It's a very solid unit. And that's what underlines...
Because they have a very good manager.
Definitely.
We have to go for another break. But before we do that, quickly, let's do this. So, I mean, I'm just going to go through the matches. If you think it will be a draw, Nanama as well, or a win, then let me know. So, we have West Ham United, Manchester City, Nanama.
It's going to be a win for Man City.
Man City wins this one, hello?
Man City win, but there will be goals in the game because we know West Ham will fight. Probably 4-2, correct score.
And Liverpool, Sheffield?
Simple win for Liverpool. Very easy win for Liverpool.
Very easy win for Liverpool.
Clean sheet for Liverpool as well.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think Liverpool is going to have this one.
Clean sheet with
sheet.
Adrian in post.
No, clean sheet. Trust me. You see, Sheffield United this season have been atrocious because people have found out their tactic where they have overlapping centre halves. They are the only team that does it. So Chris Wilder is a bit all over the place with his tactics, and
Yeah.
I think Liverpool would walk over
I
them.
pity Chris Wilder because
Sheffield
last
has
season he
been
played some beautiful football,
yeah.
and this season things are not going quite well.
And Sheffield, they haven't conceded the most goals. They've
Yeah.
conceded about 5 goals so far.
Yeah.
They might be,
But they are not able to score.
they are not able to score, but they will be very defensive against Liverpool. Also try to beat their defense because thinking that VVD is not playing. But of course, Liverpool is going to win. Sheffield might get one in.
I'm very thrilled about this game, Southampton Everton.
Very, very tough game. Another game, a bag full of goals. Hassan Hato versus Ancelotti. Everton are on an absolutely roller coaster ride in the Premier League. They're still top of the league. Southampton too are coming off that Chelsea game knowing they can go out there. So for me, that game is going to be a stalemate, probably 1-1.
Thomas Partey was the star man in the UEFA Europa League game against Rapid Vienna. He gets the opportunity to start his very first English Premier League game against Leicester City.
Tough game. Leicester have not been in great form themselves. They lost their last game to Aston Villa. So you fully expect Arsenal to take advantage of that, and an Arsenal win for me.
An Arsenal win.
I mean, both sides are coming from a defeat,
Yeah.
and Arsenal would go in deep. Hopefully, if Vardy starts, it might be a threat to Arsenal's defense. I'm looking for a draw.
And the last one, Tottenham Hotspur, after what happened in their game last weekend, leading 3-0 and then lost it. Do you think they have a chance against Burnley?
Oh, definitely. I mean, you see, Burnley are one of those teams that just want to be there or thereabouts. You know, they are going to come in and defend. They've got a great goalkeeper in Nick Pope. Aside that, not too much quality within the team, the likes of Sam Vokes, etc. So, I mean, Mourinho will go out there and take advantage of this and win it.
Bill likely to start? If he starts, what do you expect from him?
Bill didn't have any fantastic game
in the last
in the last game, and getting into this game, if his fitness level has improved, he might be able to, the partnership with Harry Kane and so on, they might get one in.
All right, so we take our last break. When we come back, I'll read your messages and then we'll finish up with Clasico. Here on MX24, it's Playmakers with me, Benedict Owusu. Don't go away. Read some of your messages before we wrap up the show with the Clasico discussion. Now, this one says, "Hi Benedict, I predict a 4-1 win in favor of Manchester United. Rashford to score. Also, Barcelona will disgrace Real Madrid by 5 goals to 0. Ansu Fati scoring a brace. Thank you very much. Next time, please do sign and let us know where you are sending that message from." This one says, "Benedict, I'm a proud Chelsea fan and I know we'll win. Lampard should pair Kante and Kovacic, but if Lampard loses, he's going to be sacked. Please add me to your WhatsApp group." Okay, Elom will do that. I'll give the number to Elom so they add you to the WhatsApp group. But it says, "Good morning to you and your panel members. Abdul Karim from WA. Please tell your man to add." Hey, Charlie, all of you, they want to be on the Chelsea platform. Elom, Charlie, you have work to do. Manchester United will lose today. Keep the fire burning. Nice presentation. Please try and telecast. Okay, we hear. This one is from Edward from Bogoso in the Western region. Charlie, pressure. Why can't Lampard play Odoi and bench Mason Mount? Charlie, why am I?
Odoi is just coming back from an injury.
Okay. Good morning, bro. I'm Alberto from Case. Please, I want every Barcelona fan to know and understand that Real Madrid will claim the 3 points today. I don't see we should add him to a Madrid or a Liverpool group. Hey, Charlie, no busy. I'm Simon from Dacoman. And he says, "I see Man United winning today ahead of Chelsea." Okay, thank you very much. You have Cristiano Ronaldo as your display picture. Good morning, I'm Kisi inside Gemma. Barcelona will destroy Madrid. Please, Bayern are not winning this UEFA Champions League. So who is winning? You didn't add that. Okay, any bet code available? Hey, Charlie, boys be wild though. You won't bet. Good morning. I'm Chelsea fan. Chelsea will beat Manchester United. I want team. Bet so. Charlie, the Octopus band didn't come today. So how do we give you? Manchester United will beat Chelsea by 3 goals to 0. Rashford 2. Bruno will score 1. Enoch from Agbogboloshi. Okay, Enoch, thanks so much for your message. A lot of the messages. This one says, "Hi, I'm a designer inside Techiman. Barcelona have no option than to beat Real Madrid." Okay, they've got your warning. They will be them for you. Good morning. Please, this message goes to Nanama. Hey, Nanama, you have a message. It says, what she said about Chelsea being afraid to concede, that was why Chelsea drew. That match was a win for Chelsea. Tell her that if... Hey, Charlie. Okay, yes. Big Ben from Manchester. I think this person knows you from your school. So let me read the message. It says, good morning, please. This message goes to Nanama. What she said about Chelsea being afraid to concede, that's why Chelsea drew. That match was a win for Chelsea. So I'm sure you are talking about the Sevilla game. Okay. So it says I should tell you that it's Baba Big Ben from Ashesi. You know the person, right? Oh, okay. Hey, Charlie, the way the messages are coming. Hey. You also have to discuss Clasico. It says Barca will win 3-1. Okay. Hi, Madrid to beat Barcelona by 3-0. Abdullah from Wulugu. Good morning from oh, wow. He's watching us all the way from Sierra Leone. A Manchester United fan. Manchester United will win 3-1. Okay. Thank you very much for watching Inside Sierra Leone. Say hi to all the guys there for us. Another one says we should add him to the Chelsea group. Hey, I'm foreigner. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. I'm foreigner from Obuasi. Manchester United is going to win by how many goals? He says by 3-1. He also wants you to add him to a Manchester United group. Guys, I'm unable to read all the messages. We have to move on. It's almost time. But briefly, Barca, with everything that is going on, they look very solid as compared to Real Madrid, and they definitely go into this game as favorites.
Definitely. I mean, both teams are looking like teams in transition with the likes of Trincao, Sergino Dest on one side, and Rodrigo and Vinicius Jr. and Ferland Mendy on the other side, etc. Both teams are looking like teams in transition, but Barcelona seem the better, and with a more experienced manager in Ronald Koeman. Zinedine Zidane has had a wretched run of form, going out there losing to a team like Cadiz, newcomers, going out there and losing to a coronavirus-ravaged Shakhtar Donetsk.
As many as 13 of their regular players were not in the team.
We're not in the team, yeah.
We have to wrap up.
Yeah.
But Nadama, briefly, I mean, Cadiz beat Real Madrid, Getafe beat Barcelona. How does that play in? They're all coming into this game having lost their respective La Liga games. Forget about the UEFA Champions League.
They both haven't had the best start to the season. Barcelona is sitting 9th, and though Real Madrid is sitting prettier in the 3rd position, they've had their own difficulties. Defensively, they have to do a lot of work. Going into this game, Zidane has a lot to prove, having a bad record so far. It's a big test also under Koeman at watch, and they are, as Elam said, they are the better side in this game.
So Barca
but then again,
this game for you.
Yes, but then again, form does not really count when it comes to big teams. It can go anywhere.
Okay, Barca Madrid.
Barca are favourites, but I think Madrid will pull a surprise.
All right, okay, guys, thanks so much for passing through.
So
Thank you very much, Nanama. Let me give it to you. Yes, okay. So, one last message, please. I'm Steven from Kumasi, Barca 4, Madrid 1. He says we should add him to a Barca group. Chelsea all the way. Hey, Charlie, I beg. See, just when I was about reading just when I said I was going to read one message, Charlie, you can see for yourself. See how the messages are coming. Guys, thank you so much. Next week, what we are going to do is we will dedicate 10 minutes of the show just to read your messages. 10 minutes of the show just to read your messages. I'm sorry for those that sent in your messages that I couldn't read. Next week, we'll do that for you. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Benedict Owusu. This has been Playmakers. Tomorrow, we are back with another show of the CAF. Every Sunday from 8 to 9 p.m. Join my colleague Sami Battles on this same channel. Until then, keep safe.